In a small house on the outskirts of Tokyo, where the rustling of leaves mingled with the distant noise of the city, lived Haru, a middle-aged man with a face marked by experience and eyes full of research. Haru had always dedicated himself to meditation and the study of ancient spiritual ways, but lately he felt that something in his life was clouded, like a light fog obscuring his inner path. Do you want to discover how a simple house cleaning can change your state of mind? Read on and you will discover an ancient secret. One morning, while walking through the quiet alleys of the neighborhood, he met an elderly monk named Keiji, who traveled to spread wisdom. The monk, with a humble and serene appearance, immediately noticed the shadow that weighed on Haru and stopped to talk to him. "It is not always what we do that affects our balance," Keiji said in a calm voice, "but often what surrounds us. If you love these stories of wisdom, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a single one." Haru, intrigued by the monk's words, invited him to his home. Keiji looked carefully around the room and, after a long silence, turned to Haru with a gentle smile. "Sometimes, what we think is insignificant has a power we can't comprehend. Bad luck doesn't just come from outside, but also from the objects we let rot in our living space. Let me show you how to free your home and, with it, your spirit." Haru agreed, and together they began to explore the corners of the house, identifying various objects that, in Keiji's opinion, needed to be eliminated. They weren't just objects, but symbols of held-back energies, ties to a past that were preventing Haru from moving forward. Have you ever tried to do a deep clean in your home to see how you feel afterwards? Write it in the comments. The first object Keiji noticed was a clock that had stopped on the sideboard. "A broken clock," the monk said, "is like a promise of unused time. Every time you look at it, it reminds you of the time that is passed unused. Throwing it away will help free your heart from the fear of wasted time." Haru, thinking about these words, realized how often that static silence had trapped him in the past. In the bedroom, Keiji pointed to an old lamp with a small crack. "The light that does not illuminate completely," the monk said, "is like a partial truth. If you want clarity in your spirit, surround yourself with unbroken light. The crack represents the unaddressed shadows." Haru felt those words sink deep into him. He had often sought clarity, but perhaps he had overlooked the small cracks in his spirit. In the kitchen, they opened a drawer and found forks with bent tines. "Even the tools you eat with," Keiji said, "affect your balance. Eating with an unbalanced fork brings discord into your life, since that which is deformed cannot bring harmony." Haru understood that caring for every detail of life, even the seemingly insignificant ones, is essential for inner peace. Under the bed, Keiji found an old shoe missing its mate. "An unpaired shoe represents loneliness and an incomplete path," the monk said. "You cannot walk a path with one foot. Life requires balance and unity in all things." Haru had never considered how a small omission like that could reflect a larger disorder in his life. In the cupboard was a chipped cup, which Haru had kept for years as a memento of a distant journey. "A cup that can no longer hold what you put in it," Keiji said, "represents a heart that can no longer hold love or wisdom fully. Don't hold on to what's broken just for nostalgia's sake." Those words made Haru reflect on how he often held on to people and memories that no longer served him, just for fear of losing something familiar. On the wall, a picture frame hung alone without a picture. "An empty frame," Keiji explained, "is like an unfulfilled dream. It reminds you of what never was or what you've abandoned. Fill it with new life or let it go." Haru realized that he had often clung to dreams that were long gone, unable to make room for new aspirations. Don't neglect your dreams. Write in the comments what you'd like to achieve this year. In the living room drawer, Keiji found an old key ring, rusty and unused. "This," the monk said, "is a symbol of the doors you have closed and no longer wish to open. The rusting of steel symbolizes the inertia that corrodes the soul. Do not let your keys to the future wear out in inaction. In the desk, Haru kept an old manual for a computer he no longer owned. Keeping instructions for something that no longer exists, Keiji said, is holding on to knowledge that is no longer useful to you. Free your mind from that which is no longer useless. Haru realized how much time he had wasted trying to understand the past instead of focusing on the present. In a vase in the living room was a fake flower, now covered in dust. The fake flower represents an illusion, Keiji said. It can never bring the freshness of life. Surround yourself with what is alive and real. Haru realized that he had often preferred the illusions of comfort to the living, breathing truth of life. On a shelf was an envelope of unopened letters Haru had never had the courage to read. Not reading what was written for you, Keiji said, is like closing your eyes to a lesson that life is offering you. If you don't face these words, you will never be able to move on. Under the front door, an old, worn-out mat greeted guests. A worn-out mat represents a lack of welcome to the new, Keiji said. How can you invite new experiences into your life if what receives them is worn out? Among the utensils was a knife with a broken blade. A knife that can no longer cut well, Keiji said, can never be useful. Bringing useless tools into your life means accepting an inefficiency that holds back your progress. On the living room wall was an old poster of a long-forgotten event, faded by time. What has faded over time must be let go, Keiji said. Do not live in the memory of past events. Live in the present. In the living room, a chair had a broken leg. An unstable base will never allow you to find rest, the monk said. Remove what no longer supports you. Finally, in a corner of the house, there was a vase of stagnant water. Water that does not flow is like energy that is blocked. Let your life flow like a stream. Change the water or remove the vase. After removing those objects, Haru sat on the tatami and breathed deeply. The house seemed lighter, brighter. It was as if, by letting go of those objects, he had freed a part of himself. Keiji smiled at him and said, "Now your space reflects your spirit. Continue to cultivate your awareness, and remember, what you let into your space also enters your heart." Does your home reflect your spirit too? Give it a try. Start reorganizing today and see how you feel afterwards. With those words, the monk left, leaving Haru with a renewed sense of peace and lightness, as if he had finally found the path he had been searching for. Don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories that might help you find your inner peace.